On the night of September 10, 2025, the peaceful stillness of Poland was shattered by the sudden piercing wail of air raid sirens. The sound echoed through empty streets and quiet neighborhoods, a chilling reminder of a world on edge. For a NATO country, this was an ominous and deeply unsettling sound, one that many hoped they would never hear in their lifetimes. In the darkness, radar operators detected unidentified aircraft crossing Poland's eastern border. Within moments, alarms blared at NATO command centers across Europe as military personnel scrambled to assess the threat. These were not lost civilian planes or weather balloons. They were Russian military drones, part of a massive, coordinated attack on western Ukraine. But this time, the drones veered off course, or perhaps deliberately, crossing into Polish territory. Polish officials quickly confirmed that multiple drones had entered their airspace over several tense hours. Some were tracked as they flew in from Belarus, raising fears of a broader regional escalation and putting the entire country on high alert. This was no accident or isolated incident. It was a large-scale, provocative incursion, an unmistakable challenge that demanded a swift and forceful response from both Poland and its NATO allies. Local authorities acted immediately, ordering residents to shelter in place. Airports were closed, flights grounded, and the military scrambled jets and mobilized ground forces to intercept and neutralize the threat. While the drones caused some property damage, shattering windows, damaging roofs, and leaving families shaken, miraculously no lives were lost. Yet the psychological impact on the population was profound, as fear and uncertainty gripped communities across the country. The war in Ukraine, once a distant conflict, had now crossed the border, bringing the very real threat of direct confrontation to Poland's doorstep. This was more than just a border violation. It was a deliberate test of NATO's resolve, unity, and willingness to defend its members. For years, the alliance had supported Ukraine with weapons, intelligence, and aid, while carefully avoiding direct military confrontation with Russia. But now, that carefully maintained line had been crossed. The drones over Poland sent a clear, aggressive message to the world, testing not only NATO's military response, but also its political will and unity in the face of escalating aggression. As news of the incursion spread, the world watched anxiously. This single incident set in motion a chain of military and diplomatic actions that would ultimately redefine the security landscape of Europe for years to come. As Russian drones entered Polish airspace under the cover of darkness, the tension in the region escalated rapidly. The sudden breach triggered immediate concern among NATO allies, who had been closely monitoring the situation for weeks. NATO's integrated air and missile defense systems sprang into action, demonstrating the alliance's commitment to collective security. Advanced radar systems tracked the drones' movements, and command centers coordinated a swift response. Within minutes, the alert was raised at NATO's Combined Air Operations Center in Germany. Highly trained personnel worked around the clock, analyzing data and issuing orders. Fighter jets were scrambled from multiple bases, their engines roaring to life in the night. Polish F-16Es, already on high alert due to recent tensions, intercepted the intruders with precision and discipline, showcasing the skill of their pilots and the effectiveness of their training. Soon, other Allied aircraft from neighboring countries joined the mission, flying in tight formation to reinforce the defense of NATO airspace and demonstrate unity. NATO's air policing mission ensures a constant presence in the skies, with jets patrolling day and night, always ready to react to any violation or threat, no matter how sudden. The activation of these forces sent a powerful signal to both allies and adversaries. NATO's borders are fortified, and any incursion will be met with decisive action and unwavering resolve. The sound of jets overhead reassured citizens on the ground, reminding them that they were protected by a vigilant alliance. For many, it was a moment of both anxiety and relief. This marked the first direct engagement between NATO and Russian military assets on alliance territory since the Ukraine invasion began, raising the stakes for all parties involved. The decision to shoot down the drones was not taken lightly, but it was necessary to uphold the integrity of NATO airspace and to prevent any potential threat to civilian lives or critical infrastructure. The successful interception validated NATO's preparedness, highlighted the dangers on its eastern flank, and demonstrated the alliance's ability to respond rapidly to emerging threats. The event shattered any illusion that NATO countries were insulated from the Ukraine conflict, making it clear that the repercussions could spill over at any moment. September 10th was a wake-up call for all of Europe. Vigilance and readiness are not just ideals, but necessities for maintaining security and peace in an increasingly unpredictable world. NATO's response to the drone incursion was a showcase of international teamwork. Polish F-16S, supported by Dutch F-35S and a network of allied assets, tracked and engaged the drones. NATO AWACS aircraft provided real-time battlespace awareness, while ground-based Patriot missile batteries stood ready. Italian Eurofighters in Romania were placed on alert, demonstrating rapid redeployment capability. Secure communication linked pilots, AWACS crews and NATO command, ensuring a measured response. This operation underscored that no NATO nation faces threats alone. The presence of multinational forces sent Moscow a clear message. Any provocation would be met by the alliance's combined might. Collective action remains NATO's greatest deterrent. After the attack, Poland faced a critical choice: invoke Article 5 and risk full-scale war, or choose Article 4 for urgent consultations. Prime Minister Tusk opted for Article 4, seeking unity and a strategic response over immediate escalation. This move prioritized diplomacy, raising the political stakes while avoiding direct conflict. The North Atlantic Council convened in Brussels, where Poland presented evidence and sought consensus. The goal: reinforce solidarity and coordinate next steps. Poland's decision demonstrated NATO's flexibility. Escalation isn't automatic. The world breathed a sigh of relief, but Russia was put on notice. NATO's message: united, resolute, and prepared to escalate if provoked again. The alliance showed it can respond with both restraint and resolve. The world was jolted when news broke that Russian drones had crossed into Polish airspace, sparking immediate and widespread condemnation from the international community. The incident quickly dominated headlines, with governments and citizens alike expressing concern over the potential for escalation in the region. European leaders, including French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, were quick to denounce the violation of Poland's sovereignty, emphasizing that Poland's security is inseparable from the security of all of Europe. They called for unity and vigilance, stressing that any threat to one member is a threat to all. The United States responded forcefully, with officials describing their NATO commitment as ironclad and voicing strong support for Poland's decision to invoke Article 4, which calls for urgent consultations among NATO members. American and Allied forces were placed on heightened alert, with leaders pledging to defend every inch of alliance territory against any aggression. The United Kingdom and other NATO allies echoed these assurances, reinforcing the alliance's unity and determination to stand together in the face of provocation. At the United Nations, Secretary-General Antonio Guterres issued a grave warning about the dangers of further escalation, urging all parties to exercise maximum restraint and seek diplomatic solutions. In response, Poland called for an emergency meeting of the Security Council, a move that further isolated Russia on the world stage and intensified diplomatic pressure. Ukraine, having endured years of Russian aggression, warned that any weak or delayed response from the international community would only embolden further provocations, and offered to share intelligence and resources with Poland to help counter the threat. Many analysts saw the incident as part of a broader, ongoing pattern of Russian escalation and testing of Western resolve. Around the globe, leaders and citizens alike recognized the gravity of the moment, understanding that the stakes had never been higher. In this tense atmosphere, the unity and resolve of the NATO alliance was on full display, sending a clear message of collective defense and solidarity to the world. Russia and Belarus denied responsibility, claiming technical malfunctions or Ukrainian interference caused the drones to cross into Poland. Western capitals dismissed these explanations, pointing to the sustained multi-hour incursion as evidence of intent. Belarus echoed Moscow's denials, blaming jamming signals, but NATO intelligence found these claims implausible. Simultaneously, Russia and Belarus prepared for large-scale joint military exercises near NATO borders, seen as clear intimidation. The timing suggested a coordinated strategy of pressure and confusion. Russia's pattern: deny, deflect, and escalate militarily. The drone incident, denials, and drills fit a hybrid warfare playbook, testing responses and sowing uncertainty. For Poland and its allies, the denials were part of the aggression itself. The drone incident heightened insecurity across NATO's eastern flank, from Estonia to Romania. For these nations, the Ukraine war was never distant. Now, the threat was real and immediate. Air defenses and rapid reaction forces were placed on high alert, and defense plans reviewed. The incident validated calls for a stronger NATO presence and accelerated plans to reinforce the region. Additional missile systems, fighter jets, and surveillance assets were deployed to create a layered defense. The new reality: every Russian exercise is seen as a potential prelude to aggression. Eastern Europe is now the front line, relying on NATO's strength for protection. The alliance's solidarity is more vital than ever. The downing of Russian drones by NATO jets brought the world dangerously close to direct conflict. For the first time, weapons were fired between NATO and Russian assets over alliance territory. The incident set a precedent, raising the stakes and forcing hard questions about red lines and escalation. What if the drones had been armed or a manned jet crossed the border? The risk of miscalculation or provocation igniting a wider war is now undeniable. Poland's use of Article 4 provided an off-ramp, but the spectre of Article 5 looms larger than ever. The incident injected volatility into European security, showing the Ukraine war's potential to expand unpredictably. The challenge: defend Allied territory without stumbling into the very war everyone fears. In the face of provocation, Poland and its allies demonstrated unity, calm, and collective action. The crisis forged stronger solidarity across NATO and the EU. Immediate support, from political backing to military aid, sent a clear message: a challenge to one is a challenge to all. By choosing Article 4 over escalation, Poland showed strength through restraint. The alliance de-escalated the crisis while reinforcing military readiness. Enhanced support for Poland and Ukraine underscored a shared commitment to defense. The events of September 10th were a sobering reminder of peace's fragility, but also of the power of unity. The path forward: stand together, deter aggression, and preserve a peaceful, united Europe.